Hi there. I've just been through yesterday a mock exam with one of my students online, and there were a few questions she struggled with, but one in particular was a probability style question, which was effectively a tree diagram question, but not in the usual sense. It was quite twisted in terms of the methodology, and the concept was like quite a challenge to actually even sort of make a start on this. So we're basically told that there are only red and yellow counters in a bag. The probability of getting a red counter is 3/5. By inference, the probability of getting a yellow counter is 2/5. But we're not told how many there are. We're also told that the probability of getting two counters of the same colour is 41/50ths. Sorry, 41/80ths rather. We need to set up some kind of equation here. Now, I'm going to start off by drawing my tree diagram, knowing that there are red and yellows. Okay, red and yellows. But we're not told how many, so we cannot write 3/5 on the red branch, because it could have been 6/10 simplified, it could have been 9/15, or any scalar multiple, any integer multiple of that. So I'm going to say that the probability, instead of 3/5, is 3n over 5n, where n is an integer multiplier, 1, 2, 3, and so on. So we're not making any assumptions about how many counters there are. So then this becomes 3n over 5n. And then when we take one out, and we have to assume that they're not replaced, i.e. a red's taken out and not put back in again, okay, we're going to have one less red and also one less counter. So our fraction becomes 3n minus 1 over 5n minus 1. And similarly with the yellow branch, we haven't taken one out. So I know there's still only 2n, because that's the 2n over 5n probability branch down here. We now know there's still 2n yellows, but 5n minus 1 counters in total. Continue populating the branches. So we now know that yellow's been taken out, so there's still 3n reds over 5n minus 1 in total. And we know, because we've taken a yellow out, there are 2n minus 1 yellows over 5n minus 1 counters. Now, we are told that two of the same colour probability is 41/80ths. So we can either get a red or a yellow. Those are our two only options. So we're going to go along the red branch, multiplying our probabilities. I can cancel my n's now. I don't need them in this particular case. So it's going to be 3/5 times 3n minus 1 over 5n minus 1. There's the probability of getting red. And similarly, cancel my n's here, multiply my probabilities along my branches. 2/5 2n minus 1 over 5n minus 1. Because we have a this or this situation, we're going to add those two probabilities together. So we get 3/5 multiplied by 3n minus 1 over 5n minus 1 plus 2/5 2n minus 1 over 5n minus 1. And we are told in the question that that's 41/80. So we've now formed an equation, and even now it still looks pretty unpleasant. So we can multiply throughout to get the denominator on the left hand side by 80. So we're going to multiply top and bottom by 16 in both these fractions. So we end up with 48, more like an 8, 48 times by 16/80ths, 3n minus 1 over 5n minus 1, plus 32/80ths, 2n minus 1 over 5n minus 1 equals 41/80ths. And now we can just literally cancel, in this case rub out, my 80ths. And I've got a slightly nice looking linear equation. I'm going to multiply through. 48 times 3 is 50 times 3 is 150 minus 6. So it's 144n minus 48 plus, and I'm going to multiply 32, so 64n minus 32. All of that over 5n minus 1 equals 41. And now we simply, I'm going to save space, I'm going to multiply throughout by 5n minus 1 over here. So I end up with, I'm going to collect these two terms together. So that's going to be 208n minus 48 minus 32 is minus 80 equals 41 times 5 is 205n minus 41. Okay, I'm going to add 80 to both sides, so I'm going to get 39 on that side, and then I'm going to get 3n on this side. So n is equal to 13. Now that isn't the final part of the question, because we're asked to find out how many yellows there are. So going back to our yellow branch, we know that there are 2n yellows out of 5n counters. So what we're doing here is multiplying n by 2. So 2 times 13 equals 26. So we have 26 yellows. Okay, that was, I believe, only worth 4 marks, which I think was incredibly tight. It was about the last question on the paper, but as you can probably see, it was very challenging, and across the board, I think people really struggled with this one. Okay, I hope that was helpful.